They're all saving one, or most of the Hampshire fielders are saving one. Somerset need one run. It's Edwards to Hildreth. He's there and bowls Hildreth, and he gets the run away through the onside, and Somerset have won. They've won the Royal London One Day Cup.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. You'll listen to Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. This is the Somerset Cricket Podcast. I'm Ian Shepherd. Joining me this evening, I've got Dan Kingdom, journalist and broadcaster Sam Dalling, president of Somerset County Cricket Club Peter Wanless, and the voice of cricket on BBC Radio Somerset, Anthony Gibson. It's been a couple of months since we all got together, guys. I suppose the biggest story during that time has been Will Smeed opting to forego Red Ball Championship cricket and sign a white ball only contract. Now, I listened to the interview that Spencer did with Will about this. All the reasons absolutely make 100% sense. It's completely the logical thing to do for him. But why does it feel so wrong? Is it just that first little peel of the onion, or whatever weird little metaphor you want to use? I couldn't come up with a metaphor on the spot, which is why I use that slightly abstract one. But I suppose, well, maybe the first nail in the coffin of red ball cricket. I mean, I don't know, Gibbo. I mean,
I just think it's a shame he hasn't been given a chance to show what he can do in red ball cricket. Because people who've watched him growing up playing cricket at Millfield School, at Millfield Prep, and then obviously more recently at King's, have said he's just hugely talented. And okay, he hasn't got any runs for the seconds, and he's a bit one-sided because of all of the white ball cricket that he plays. He's very much onside focused. But someone with that much talent surely ought to be given the chance, or himself to say, "I want to be given the chance to play proper cricket, to play serious cricket," because I think he's more than capable. From what people tell me, I mean, I've only seen him in white ball cricket. From what people tell me, he's got enough talent to succeed in red ball cricket if given the chance. And I think, it's very sad. And I'd say the same about Tom Banton, who might very easily go the same way.
I mean, Dan, go on then, Sam. I mean, just looking at his numbers for the second team, he hasn't really set the world on fire. No, he scored 100. He was back with Trez. This is about 3-4 years ago now. But since then, he's not really scored a bucket full of runs in second team cricket, has he?
I think there's a big distinction between Banton and Smeed, and it's the desire. Banton really does want to play red ball cricket. I'm not so sure Smeed was ever that interested. You have to make the right noises in interviews and say, I mean, how many times do the players get a white ball? Player breaks into the white ball setup, gets asked the question, do you want to play red ball cricket? Yes, of course I do, blah, 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 it's the pinnacle. I think increasingly we're going to have to look at them as different sports, and not everyone has the desire or the ability in terms of concentration or to stand out there for 4 days. It's a big commitment, and if you're not that keen on it, I think probably the fact that there are enticements, there is an increasingly appealing alternative probably helps. There are probably plenty of players who have played red ball cricket and had good careers who were never really that interested in it. I don't know. I think Banton's a very different case. I think Banton genuinely wants to play and make it in red ball cricket.
Well, he does, but if he doesn't get picked, and it's quite hard to see how he's going to get into the county championship side, given the signings during the summer. He'll either go elsewhere or he will sign he will become a white ball only cricketer. I fear. I mean, I profoundly hope he doesn't. I'd love to see him in the middle order for Somerset for the next 10 years, but I don't think the chances are very high at the moment.
Well, it's interesting you say that, Sam, about having the desire, because I think when he first joined I think it might have been the academy, I think Ben did a little sort of 2-minute snapshot interview with him, and one of the questions was, it was something along the lines of, would you rather win the Ashes, win the World Cup final with England, or win the IPL? And straight away, with a little smirk and a glint in his eye, he said, win the IPL. So I think That's if I can find that and retweet it, I will do. But it's I suppose it goes to show what his motivation. I need to turn my notifications off. Something.
But he's a very bright lad. He's a very bright lad.
He's a mathematician, and he's hugely logical, and it's more logical to imagine Banton getting into the team next season than it is Will Smeed. So why spend a significant amount of your spring practicing a format of the game that you might not be able to play when you could concentrate solely on the other format, pick up some contracts in other part of the world where the weather is a bit better, and given the way England are playing at the moment, there are other routes into the pinnacle of cricket, i.e. the Test team, through different routes. So he'd have to be. I mean, he's a long way from being Liam Livingstone, but there are options and choices, aren't there? It seems quite a logical thing for him to have decided, I guess, and. We've still got, from Somerset's point of view, we've still got a strong batting lineup for the spring.
Maybe Will's playing some 4D chess strategy where he's worked out, actually, the best way for me to get picked for the England Test team is to not play any red ball cricket at all, go and smash it in the franchise leagues like Liam Livingstone, and bang, you get called up having played no red ball cricket at all.
You laugh, but that is true.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's so upside down at the moment. Nothing makes sense. Oh, dear. Dan, I mean, you were keeping a close eye on sort of Will's red ball second 11 numbers this year. It's not really a surprise, is it?
No. His numbers weren't great this year. They weren't great last year. I just think he's decided that rather than trying to be a jack of all trades, he can be a master of one. And it's clear that white ball cricket is where it's at for him at the moment. So I don't blame him for really going for it in that format, because it probably will allow him to be the absolute best he can be in white ball cricket. I think you see a lot of players these days trying to do all the formats, and they struggle. They can't quite get to the pinnacle in both or one of them even. I think Tom Abel is possibly an example of that. He's someone who he's very, very good in white ball cricket and red ball cricket. Is it just a worry that he's not fully maximising his potential in red ball cricket, perhaps because of the white ball cricket, or vice versa? I don't know. That's just a thought I've sort of had for a while. He's still not played for England, and could he make that final step by focusing on one or the other? I don't think he's going to do that, but Smeed might have seen that as an example and thought, I'm just going to, go for one of them. I think Banton might be another as well. Banton is sort of maybe caught in two minds between the two formats to an extent. I think you're going to see it a lot with players these days, because the schedule is so hectic, in international cricket, and with franchise cricket competing as well, and county cricket. It's just so much.
Funny point you make there about Abes, because looking at Tom Abel, he was strictly a red ball only player. Then he got into the white ball team and used that technical skill and correctness he's got to improve his white ball game, which has then improved his red ball game. So they've kind of complemented each other as Abes has got stronger and stronger over the years.
Abel got it the right way round, like Harry Brook, who is who's a brilliant white ball cricketer, but it's built on an absolutely rock solid red ball technique. And there are plenty of other examples of that. I think Will Smeed's got it the wrong way round. You need to bat properly first, get your defence in order, be all around the wicket player, and then if you've got all of that, then you can, like Tom Abel, you can graft on some white ball skills. I think he is one-sided. Will Smeed. I fear he's going to be worked out because of that. And I think if he had more experience in the proper form of the game, the red ball form of the game, that would stand him in better stead for his white ball career, even if he remains predominantly a white ball player, which I'm sure he will do because he's very talented.
Yeah, watching the recent T20 World Cup, all the commentators were at pains to say about SKY that he's played all this first class cricket, he's scored all these thousands of first class runs, and this is what has developed him into probably the best T20 bat in the world at the moment, because he's got those fundamentals to call on. And I'm a bit like you, Gibber. I mean, best of luck to Will. I really hope it works out for him. But there is just that little sort of niggling doubt in the back of my mind that he kind of needs something to base it on. Sam's kind of saying, I'm not sure, sort of grimace there.
Look, I'd love to say that if I was Will Smeed, I would be a purist and want to win the county championship. But he's a product of his time. He's grown up watching the first. Would you have seen England win the T20 World Cup? Anyway, like it's a job, right? You can have a 12-month a year gig, probably earning £1 million plus, playing in all these wonderful places, playing a couple of hours a day, getting these experiences, or he can spend his summer training around playing on Two's club's ground, which is lovely for some people. Like it just makes complete sense for him, and I think I would do the same if I was him. Supremely talented. He will get worked out, but what's he got? He's got those couple of 90s in the PSL, runs in the 100 in the Blast. Like he just looks like he's set for life with it.
And what Smeed will tell you, if he's got limitations in white ball cricket. He's very leg side oriented. What Smeed will tell you is, well, he can now focus entirely on expanding his game in white ball cricket because he's got the time to do so. He doesn't need to worry about red ball cricket. I mean, yes, well, red ball might help him to an extent with fundamentals, etc. I think he'll probably have a different view on how to get to the top of white ball batting. You know, a view of a more modern view, I suppose, that you wouldn't have had sort of 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I just suppose it's the beginning of an era, isn't it? The era that we're all kind of desperate for it to not happen, where franchise cricket really does start to dominate the hearts and minds of young guys and girls who are looking to make a career in the game. And, you know, we'd love it if every Somerset player coming up through the pathway had that absolute heart-burning desire to be in that first 11 that wins the county championship for Somerset, but I think we all need to recognise that it's possibly not.
Well, we do. Richard Gould, when he spoke at the West of England Cricket Society the other day, made a very interesting point. If you're a footballer and another club wants you, they have to pay a transfer fee running into tens of, if not hundreds of millions of pounds these days. Somerset have reared these cricketers like Will Smeed and Tom Banton and co, going off around the world, and Somerset get no benefit from that whatsoever. And similarly, if they're snapped up, if Banton goes to Warwickshire, let's say, there's no transfer fee if he's out of contract. And what's happening is that the franchise leagues are sucking them not just the blood out of county cricket, but the money as well. And I do think that needs looking at. That if a club, Will Smeed's been playing for Somerset age group team since he was 10. We've made him the player that he is, and now he's going to apply his trade all around the world. Good luck to him. But Somerset get no reward for all of the investment they've put into a player like that. And I think that really does need looking at by the ECB, the cricket authorities. And I'm glad that Richard, it was a superb appointment. I mean, that's one of the best things that's happened since the end of the season. Richard Gould and Richard Shepherd at the top of the ECB. I hope he really gets to grips with that, so that counties who like Leicestershire and Rian Ahmed, he could go off and play franchise cricket around the world. Leicestershire have made him the cricketer he is, and Leicestershire will get no benefit from that whatsoever. Yeah,
it's something that he's looking at. But I suppose if let's say, for example, Banter did go to Warwickshire, or we sign a player from another county, that's almost a sort of a reciprocal arrangement, isn't it? If it's because that investment is staying within the county game. When you've got these franchises who are completely privately owned, who have no interest in the grassroots of it at all, that's where you've just got big business sweeping in and reaping the rewards of the players that these counties have produced. I don't know, maybe 15% of whatever wage they're paid needs to go to the host club's academy. That's just something off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It's something we could chat about for hours, really, isn't it?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because you get, for someone like Smeed, if he was on a full contract, then I think when a player goes off to the IPL and it's during the county season, actually the money that the county gets back is quite favourable for the county in terms of, like, you miss 20 days. The kind of day rate for having a player missing actually can be quite rewarding. But with someone like Smeed, because he's not on a full contract now, he's made that decision, then unless he suddenly becomes unavailable for Somerset during the Blast, then Somerset aren't going to see anything. I think I'm not very good at franchise. I'm not all over franchise cricket. What does worry me a little bit, I've got no idea who Smeed is playing for, but it's the IPL sides that are buying teams in all the different leagues.
Yeah, the Royals,
and suddenly Smeed is contracted to. Is it Mumbai Indians? The side he's.
Yes, Smeed's been signed by Mumbai Indians Cape Town, I think, or is it the UAE version? It's the Mumbai version.
One of those.
UAE or South Africa, yeah.
But he'll end up playing. You'd imagine if he goes to the IPL, he'll be with the Mumbai Indians, and if they end up owning franchise sides in 6, 7, 8 leagues, then he's basically just contracted to them going around. And then at that point, he probably goes, well, my bread is buttered wherever the Mumbai Indians tell me to go, and that's it. Then you're in danger of losing him to the Blast.
I suspect, well, he'll have to be contracted to a county to play for England, I think, won't he? So there's no danger, I don't think, of him leaving county cricket entirely. I suppose the risk is if there's a league with a Mumbai Indians team in it that's scheduled for the same time as the Blast at some point in the future. I mean, I don't know, I'm just speculating here, but that could be a risk, I suppose. But I can't see Smeed being signed in the IPL auction, to be honest. This is like a mini auction. There's not that many slots available. I can't imagine Smeed will be signed. He is in the auction, but...
No, but further down the line, 3-4 years time.
Down the line, yeah.
Do you have to be contracted to? Do you have to be contracted to a county to play for England? Is that a thing?
I believe so. Because remember years ago, Kevin Peterson, wasn't it? When he left Hampshire, there was a thought that he could just not play for any county, but he kind of had to sign for Surrey to play for England. Whether that's still a rule, I'm not sure. I
think it's a rule that you have to play for Surrey if you want to play for England these days, Dan. I'm pretty sure that was still codified. Yeah, what were your thoughts on that, Peter? Were you deeply involved in contract negotiations, or more of a silent partner?
It's a developing situation, isn't it? You can create all sorts of nightmare scenarios. There have been these stories in the press about the 100 being sold off to private equity, which then becomes part of the franchise world and detaches that still further from the pathways, and then if we're not careful, the players we really want to see are choosing to have a rest at the time of the Blast, whether or not the competition clashes with another franchise tournament around the world. So there's some really big and important issues for Somerset to face up to and seek to influence in terms of connecting the grassroots of the game and the development pathways leading through and on beyond the county team in a kind of coherent way that grows the game of cricket in England, as opposed to delivering wonderful things for a small number of people who happen to be elite players or potential elite players at the moment. So there's a lot to play for. As Anthony says, I think it's encouraging the new leadership at the ECB, but there's some really big issues to work through, and we've got to do our best from our perspective to influence them. But at least the chief exec there has been the chief exec of Somerset and has some vague interests of vague understanding of what it feels like to live and play cricket in the west of England, which you sort of think some of the people who've done previous reviews and assessments of the national game haven't really appreciated or understood the geography or the history or the economics of the West Country.
He still lives down in Somerset as well.
Oh, happy days. Well, we'll be able to get round his house with if we ever need a demonstration about something. Only joking.
No, he doesn't need much. He doesn't need much persuading, I'll tell you. But he's on the side of proper cricket.
Yeah, I think we can all agree Richard Gould is probably the best appointment we could have hoped for from a county cricket perspective.
Richard Thompson ditto. Yeah.
What other news have we had? Lachlan Stevens has departed Taunton after one season as was it assistant coach and batting coach, I think he was, to give him his full job title. I'm a bit disappointed in that, because towards the end of that season we were really seeing some the fruits of his labours coming through.
I don't think he wasn't very well, and I don't think the family ever really settled here. It's sad, because I liked Lachlan Stevens. He was honest, and I think he was a good coach, or is a good coach as well. I was sorry to see him go, but it's nothing to do. There's no reflection on situation at Somerset because of that. It's his own personal circumstance.
Gibbo's frozen. Go on, Dan. Do you want to jump in?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. We're now looking for a batting coach and a bowling coach, aren't we? Because obviously now that Steve Kirby's gone to Zimbabwe. But yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, as you said, he was. We were seeing improvements in our young batters in the county championship. So yeah, who knows who it's going to be to replace him? I haven't seen any rumours for either really batting coach.
In an open letter to Western-super-Mare Cricket Club, Pete Trigo said he'd been offered an exciting role in the world of cricket. So maybe that's it, or
I think that's in Nepal. I saw something about
in Nepal. All right, that's going to be a hell of a commute for him to be Somerset's assistant coach, but okay.
As over Christmas, I'm not sure that affects his availability for Western-super-Mare this summer. But I have asked him, and he denies any rumour that I wanted to start about him becoming a coach. Sadly.
What, in Nepal or Taunton, or both?
In Nepal, no. Nepal is confirmed. He will be in Christmas. It will be in Nepal for Christmas.
All right, what's this do? Is he coach of the Nepalese team then, or
head coach of a side in their T20 league? I bet Dan can name them.
Well, I'm just finding them now. The Lumbini All Stars. I'm not sure what.
Oh, they're my favourites.
Oh, I like that. They're good.
Yeah.
Their Twitter account that says franchise team in the Nepal T20 league. Obviously, it's not. They're not full T20 matches, presumably.
I think he might have played out there. Didn't he go and play out there, maybe with Dan Lawrence at one point?
I think he did, yeah.
They've got Pat Brown in their squad, plays for Worcestershire. Harry Tecto is Irish, apart from... Chand is Indian. Apart from them, I've not heard of any of them. So there's a few players I know of in their squad. So.
And what channel's on that on then? Is that on, I do find that the more obscure and random and kind of low quality the tournament, the higher channel number it is on Sky. So this is probably like channel 5,200. Is it better than that that one that's always on YouTube? What's it called? The the European Cricket League, that 10 over thing where they play the artificial.
You might be able to find us one or two mystery spinners.
Yeah, bring them on back.
Could be. Yeah.
Happy days. Everybody got their tickets for Lionel? I couldn't believe that when that popped up. I was like, oh, Lionel Richie coming to Taunton in whenever that is. Come on, Pete, you should know.
No, I can't help you with that one.
Sunday, June the 20th. No, Sunday the 11th of June. So you can either go and watch Lionel at Taunton or go down to the Cloud FM County Ground to watch Essex against Somerset.
Well, the 11th of June is my wedding anniversary, so there's no contest. We'll be off to Chelmsford.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could potentially be triple booked, Pete. Well, cricket in the day, helicopter back to Taunton for Lionel, and then a lovely dinner in Stragglers afterwards. Oh,
yeah, you and Anthony could split the cost. There you go. Anthony can jump in as well.
Yeah, we can all do
half
it.
The price.
We can right, Bino.
I'm not sure Lionel Richie is really my bag. He's a bit too elderly.
All I want for that, a bit too elderly. You're the same age, Gibbo.
Well, exactly. I'm more a Dua Lipa man myself.
Oh, that's the title for this week's podcast. More a Dua Lipa. All I want for the Lionel Richie concert is just for Tractor to be stood on Gimlet Hill in his hat with a pint of cider going, go on there, Lionel! Give us another one! Of course, that's not going to happen because Tractor, like all dedicated Somerset fans, will be down watching the renewal of that old rivalry down in Chelmsford. Pete, you've been a busy man the last few weeks. You've been little project on the go, canvassing the opinions of members about the specialness of Somerset County Club.
Yeah, so one of the things that I thought, what can the president do, sort of sitting between the supporters and the administration of the club, that would particularly play to that role? And in times of change, I think it's really important for organisations to really have a sort of clear sense of what the essence or underlying heart and soul of the organisation are. Not in order to kind of veto anything or keep things stuck in the past, because I think the one thing's absolutely clear is we're going to go through a period of change. But I do think it's really important, and strong organisations kind of respect and celebrate their past without being defined by their past as they look ahead. So that's the intent of what we're trying to do with this survey, is have a really big conversation, and not just with the members of Somerset at the moment, but members of the past and potential members and generations of the future, to really get a sort of sense together of what is special about the club, a bit like you do with these kind of word cloud things, and then when we can see and share that together, I think we can hold that mirror up to big decisions and small decisions looking into the future, and sort of challenge and support the club in saying, well, have you considered the essence of what Somerset County Cricket Club is about in taking that particular step forward? So that's what I'm aiming to do. We've had some great support from people who know how to run these sorts of surveys, and the ECB as well, in putting the thing on. Last I'd heard, we'd had over 600 responses, but I haven't sort of looked at what anyone has said yet. But we'll aim to.
I was hoping you'd
we'll aim to put that.
Carry on.
Well, we'll have a look at all of that, and what with kind of human intelligence and artificial intelligence, you can set quite strong messages up quite quickly from large amounts of data. So in the new year, we'll have a look at what we're hearing and play some of that back to people. So yeah, I think it's an interesting and important exercise, and a number of the other sort of presidents in other counties, I think, are keeping an eye on it and are intrigued to see both what we understand, and then when we receive the results, how we use them.
Good stuff. I think is there just a link to that on the club website, or do you need to be on the members' emails to get the link?
It's on the website, and the club seems to send a link to it every Sunday in the late afternoon, including at a crucial point of the World Cup final, which I did think was kind of slightly hopeful, to imagine that people would kind of take their eyes off Argentina, France, in order to let us know what they think about Somerset. But it's going to be open right the way through Christmas, so if folk haven't filled it in yet, do please let us know what you think.
Happy days. I'll retweet that if I can find the link for that one. Oh, what else has happened then since we recorded last on October?
Fixtures.
Oh, the fixtures came out. They did. I've got my copy printed out here. Come on then, Dan. Off your long run. Go.
I think the fixtures are about as well as good as they could have been, really, considering that we knew it was going to be similar to last season. Somerset have done very well in terms of white ball home matches. 3 T20s on Fridays and 3 on Sundays. I think they'd have taken that. And then 2 Royal London Cup matches on Fridays and 2 on Sundays. That's as good as it's going to get. We've got a small increase in county championship matches at weekends, or county championship days at weekends. Which, yeah, I mean, it was always going to be difficult to have much of an increase. I think there's an extra day, and there's a couple extra days in September, I think. Although unfortunately, one of those rounds Somerset aren't playing in. There's also there's a Saturday in July. A nice little scrap there for us. One weekend there, championship cricket in July. Somerset aren't playing at an outground, which I think is a bit of a shame. That's always the first thing I look for. I was scrolling through the fixtures, like thinking, "Come on, I want an outground," but there wasn't any, which is sad. But yes, we can't really. As someone pointed out on Twitter, we can't complain too much because we don't do outgrounds, so we don't give outgrounds to other counties, so we can't complain. Which is one way of looking at it. Couple of negatives. Once again, we've obviously got the ridiculous scheduling of the Royal London Cup knockouts either side of the August bank holiday weekend, which is just a complete joke. And bank holidays in general, just quite badly underused. I think we've got a few blast matches on the late May bank holiday, but the early May bank holiday, Easter Monday, the Coronation bank holiday, and the August bank holiday, there is no county cricket at all. There is Good Friday, that's day 2 of the first round of matches. But yeah, terrible underuse of bank holidays once again.
So if we go back to your email that you wrote probably about, well, it wouldn't have been this time last year because we were still waiting another 2 months for the fixtures come out at this time last year. But have they addressed any of the points that you firmly but politely put to them?
I'll have to find the email again to see what I said, but not really, because it's very similar to last year, as I said, the fixtures. So, I mean, one of the points I was trying to make was like the Royal London Cup knockouts, like, you know, that was such an obvious thing to fix, and yet they've somehow not done it. I think the Royal London Cup, there's a slight increase in Royal London Cup games at weekends. Like last year, there was a round where there was only 5 matches on a weekend. I think this year that's not so bad. But yeah, it's broadly similar, really. I think we need to wait for 2024 for any real improvements to the fixture list. But even then, who knows what's going to happen, because there's no one's budging, are they, in terms of the results of the review and what changes it's going to be in county cricket. So who knows if there'll be a improvement then.
Yeah, that will be something to keep an eye on, of course, with England doing so well in obviously in the T20 World Cup, the season finishing. This tour to Pakistan exceeding all expectations. Kind of discussion of the high performance review has sort of gone off the back pages a little bit. Well, maybe not the back pages. It was never on the back pages, but certainly what should have been on the back pages. One thing that I noticed about the fixtures is we've got a week off, 27th of May. That's the 4th championship game. We get a bye week there.
You mean April? 27th of April.
Oh, April. Sorry. And then we miss a game in September, which would be the one that would start Sunday the 10th, I think.
Yeah.
But in that middle period of the season, it is full on. There is, you sometimes you talk to cricketers and they go, oh yeah, schedule's too bad, but it is pretty full on through the whole of that sort of high summer period. And if you make the knockouts in the T20 and the Royal London, you've hardly got a day off.
Yeah, it's just the way it falls. I think like every county gets 2 bye weeks in the county championship, and I think it's the luck of the draw, I suppose, in a way, as to when you get those matches off. Last year we had one round in the middle of the blast that we missed, didn't we? So that maybe sort of broke things up a bit. But yeah, this year it's a bit different. But it's good for fans in a way, because it's the two rounds we're missing are April and September. So we get more in the high summer. Although the 2 rounds we miss are rounds that have weekend days, so it's pros and cons. Yeah,
not enough cricket on weekends in September again. That's always the first thing I look for when the fixtures come out these days is what is going to be nice and easy to go to in September. And yeah, one day of weekend championship cricket in September is pretty poor. Anything that you guys are looking forward to, Gibbo? What's your number one? What do you look for when you go and when you see the fixtures coming out every year?
Well, I think the ECB have addressed one thing, which was that last season, at the height of summer, in 40 days, we had 4 days of cricket at Taunton, and I haven't worked out how many more there are going to be this year, but it's a good slice more. And I think given that this is a sort of treading water sort of year in advance of changes that are expected for 2024. I think as Dan said, I think it's fine. Looking forward to it, and the fact that we have only got to play Surrey once, and that at home, it's not too bad. I mean, I focus on the championship fixtures, and it could be worse, but it's going to be tough because the standard of teams in the first division now is really, really high, with Nottinghamshire and Middlesex coming up. You could say the only 2 potential weak links would be Kent, who aren't, in all honesty, all that good, and Northants. Ditto. But, we're going to have to play really well to survive in the First Division next season, especially given our geriatric bowling attack. No, I can't see how we're going to take 20 wickets with Craig Overton and Jack Leach are away with England. It's going to be a real struggle against some of those sides, like Notts, like Surrey, like Lancashire, like Middlesex. We've all got very, very strong batting lineups. I think it's going to be a tough season in the county championship. I think hanging in the First Division needs to be the height of our ambitions there, and hope to do well in the Blast, because I think we'll be decimated for the Royal London One Day Cup yet again. Well, it's not the Royal London One Day Cup; it's just the One Day Cup.
Now, One Day Cup. Are we inviting tenders for that? Can we just write in with a bid and just say, "I'll give you £50 to sponsor the Always Look on the Bright Side of Life One Day Cup for 2023"? I think mine must have a misprint on here because I can't see Yorkshire anywhere in the championship fixtures. So I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, but
they were very unlucky.
Oh, of course they were. Well, maybe if Joe Root hadn't been playing golf, has he been back to Headingley yet? Has he had a reception from the Yorkshire faithful? I'd be giving him short. I'd tell you, if it was Tom Abel, I'd be giving him short shrift. Sam, anything standing out for you on that fixture list as sort of noteworthy?
Highlights for me are Lords and Trent Bridge. Love both grounds. There'll be difficult places to go, unfortunately. The two sides that have come up are both very, very strong. I mean, I saw Middlesex versus Notts at Trent Bridge, and at times it was like Test cricket. They had Broad, Pattinson, Fletcher was playing. I just love Fletcher as a character and as a bowler. There was a spell that Pattinson bowled at Hanscom, who I know Hanscom is a weird one because he got no runs at Middlesex at all, has gone back and is scoring boatloads in the Sheffield Shield. But yeah, Lords is just beautiful. Been lucky enough to do some commentary there, and it really is a magical place. And I love Trent Bridge as a ground as well. So without analysing the cricket or Somerset's hopes in any way whatsoever, just looking forward to those two trips.
And Pete, when Tuesday, May 30th, Kent Spitfires hosting Somerset, is that going to be your...
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll be there for that one. Bit disappointed that we haven't got Surrey at the Oval, because that's the long room in Surrey is a magnificent place to watch cricket from. I'm looking forward to Derbyshire. I've never been to Derby as a ground. Derby County have got the NSPCC on their shirts, and I'm making lots and lots of new friends in and around the city of Derby. So I'm looking forward to meeting up with all of them in the middle of the summer and watching second string Somerset against first string Derbyshire.
And Western Storm have got they got 3 home games at Taunton this year, all in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint. Saturday, July the 15th, they play the Southern Vipers. Northern Diamonds on Sunday, September the 10th, and then on Wednesday, September the 13th, they have the Central Sparks. And of course,
hang on, it's 4 home games, 4 games at Taunton.
You can't expect me to prepare for that one. Oh yeah, I missed that. Oh yeah, they got, and in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, they've got the South East Stars on Sunday, May the 28th. So it said 3 in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint, and then 1 in the. I'm trying to.
No, it's 2 in the Charlotte Edwards.
Oh, is it?
So Storm v Stars is a double header at Taunton with Somerset Glamorgan in the Blast, and then there's also, I think, the weekend before on Sunday.
Sunday, it's just Sunday, May 21st. Yeah,
and the other 2 are Hayhoe event, both September.
Happy days. Right, so one last thing before we go on to the quiz. Then, Somerset seem to have got all of their pretty much all their transfer business done and dusted before the end of the season. We've got Sean Dixon coming in. Obviously, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, who's been setting Abu Dhabi alight in your favourite tournament, Gibbo, out there in the Abu Dhabi T10.
I haven't watched any of it this year because I haven't had COVID.
Bollocks, of course you have.
I have not. I have not watched a single ball of the Abu Dhabi T10s.
Are you boycotting it in protest of the fact that Graham Swan's got the commentary gig ahead of you, despite
I can't stand Graham's. I cannot stand Graham Swan.
Back on topic though, do we think that there are any more signings to come, bearing in mind what Gibbo's just said and what I think we all feel about the slightly fragile nature of Somerset's bowling attack? Certainly not in skill, but definitely in in advancing age and the increased tendency to suffer injuries that brings with it. Pete, who we signed?
well, we await overseas player news, don't we?
We do.
So
Peter Sidley is a very strong rumour at the moment. I think that would be. I think from what I've heard is he would probably finish his first class career at Somerset, which of course if he doesn't want to go back and play for Tasmania in 23-24, that would mean he wouldn't have to go back to some pre-season training camp, and we'd have him for the whole of September if fit.
He's having a good Sheffield Shield, and he was good for us last year, so yeah, I wouldn't object to him coming back at all for availability reasons as well. The second slot is interesting, I think, because we won't sign a batter, I'm guessing, seeing as we've signed a lot of batters and we've got lots of batters now. But the second slot maybe will rotate a bit through the season. We might sign a spinner for periods where we think Leach is away, that kind of thing. May sign another pace bowler for certain periods, maybe early on when we think Craig's away. There's all sorts of options, I guess.
Sam, what are your thoughts? You heard anything?
Yeah. I think that's the plan. Exactly what Dan said, is to have a seamer early on while Leach is available, and then once the Ashes kick off, to have a look at spinners second half of the season. So it will be good. And it took Sid a little bit of time to settle, I think, but then really enjoyed it towards the back end. I think he's got an Ironman or something to do at some point in February, March. So he should, assuming he gets through that, he should be fighting fit, or the other way around, completely broken. Who knows? But I remember saying, I'm sure it's during the Sheffield Shield season at some point, because I was like, I'm talking to him about it, and said, how did you get the permission for that? And he was like, well, I'm Peter Siddle. It didn't quite say that, but he was like, at my stage of the career, I can get away with that kind of thing. I think he'd be brilliant. I think he was brilliant, actually, for us. He bowled a lot better than perhaps... I haven't got his numbers in front of me. I think he bowled a lot better than his numbers suggest, and his influence on some of the junior players as well. He was very highly thought of.
Yeah. He finds it hard to take wickets on good surfaces, though. As does Jack Brooks. I'm seriously worried about our bowling for next season in the county championship, because Jack Leach isn't, in all honesty, he's not such a force in April and May as he is later in the season. Lewis Gregory, I would be very surprised if he makes a significant contribution with the ball next season. If Craig Overton's away with England, who've we got? The young quicks are promising, but there's a big gap between the youngsters coming through in their early 20s and the mainstays who are going out in their late 30s. Mm-hmm. And we need, without Craig Overton, it's a pretty toothless attack.
Yeah, but
that's harsh on Davey, but Davey's better with Overton. I agree.
Well, Davey is good on a wicket that's helping him, but we saw plenty of times on those flat wickets in July and other times where he doesn't look much of a threat on a wicket that isn't seaming, frankly.
But Craigo is available, or should be available for a decent chunk of the first half. If you get Siddle and if there's another overseas bowler in there, I agree. Sadly, I think Gregory's back just isn't going to allow him to be anything more than an impact bowler. Here's the new ball, it's swinging around, bowl 5 overs. We're not going to see him bowl 20 overs in a day anymore, I don't think, which is a shame because he is a bloody good bowler. But it looks a bit barren now, but wait and see. I'll be waiting to see who the overseas players are, because that could make a massive difference, and I think it might.
Just illustrating the point that you made, Gibbo, about the young versus the old, we've got nobody in that age range between Casey Aldridge at 21 and Craig Overton at 28. So there is that almost sort of 6-7 year gap between the two of them, which is a little bit frightening. You've got Lammerby in there at 22, but I don't think we could call him a frontline seamer yet. Yeah, Ogbourne is 19, Aldridge 21, Overton 28, Lammonby 22, Bacon 19, Old Ned Leonard is 20, Lewis Gregory 30, Davey 32, and Brooks at 38. So it'd be interesting. Any domestic signings we'd like to see? I don't know who's out of contract that we could possibly get, but I would imagine all that business would have been done and dusted by now. So I think we're pretty much exclusively shopping in the overseas market.
Yeah.
Just one thing on Craig. We may actually see a lot of him next year because if Jofra Archer's fit again, if Chris Wokes is fit again, if Saki Mahmood's fit again, Craig Overton might be quite low in the England seamers pecking order. So he might not be needed by England at all, to be honest, next year. There's Matty Potts as well, who's not been in this Pakistan series. There's Jamie Overton, of course. So if England aren't too hit by injuries, I don't think Craig will be in the Test squad at all, to be honest, which is great for us.
Sadly, I agree. I think they will move on from him, actually, because he's of an age. It's sad for him because he's a quality bowler, but the way they're playing at the moment, they've got enough bowlers like him and of his age. I just think they'll move past him. And Dan says he's way down that pecking order.
Yeah, it's a shame for him. I'm sad for him, but it's the way it is. There's a lot of competition.
I didn't want to say it as well, Dan. I thought I'd leave it to you to. With that bad news, 6 days before Christmas.
We'll see.
Rightio. Mr. Kingdom, then, you are the reigning Always Look on the Bright Side of Life quiz champion. And your reward is you got to set the questions for 2022.
Yep. Are you all ready?
I think this is possibly the quiz that nobody wants to win, because before last year I didn't say that whoever won it had to do the questions for next year, because I'm not doing it every bloody year. So I think this could be potentially a 4-way tie on 0 points. But any match fixing shenanigans will be appropriately dealt with by the relevant authorities. Right then, Dan, what's the format? What have you gone for?
Yes, it's similar to last year, really. It's sort of 5 lots of 4 questions, roughly, each competition from this season, plus a couple of other sort of rough rounds. It's and it's some answers are, some questions are just 1 point, some of them are more than 1, so it's just a point for every correct answer. Some of them are like name 5, name 6, so you just get a point for each of them. So there's 20 questions in total. It's out of 41. So shall I begin?
Crack on.
Okie doke. So a few county championship questions first. First one is, who was the only man to play all 14 county championship matches for Somerset this summer?
Tom Lammonby.
I'm writing this
You're
down.
supposed to write it down, Gibbo.
I was about to ask what the format is.
Yeah. Have you got a pen and paper with you, Sam?
I'm writing it on a Word document. Is that all right?
I do. Right, so question 1.
The good news is, Gibbo, is we've both either got 1 or 0. Is the good news.
I don't. Yeah, I think you're right, Gibbo.
Sorry, I should. Right.
Okay, doke. Number 2. Name the 5 players to take a 5-wicket haul for Somerset in the county championship this year. 5 players to take a 5-foot for Somerset in the 2022 county championship.
I'll have to go back and edit all these silences out, but crack on.
You all ready?
Yeah, ready for number 3.
3, yeah. Somerset bowled first in only 2 county championship matches. Against which teams were they?
Be a long night.
This could be a long, yeah. It's only 8 o'clock. Look, this will all get edited out. Don't worry, this will be fun. It'll be like, boom, 2 minutes, done. What games did we bowl first? There was one late season, wasn't there?
Presume you want home and away as well.
Just put the teams, that's fine. The teams they were against.
This is going to make fascinating listening.
This will all be chopped out. All these awkward silences will get chopped out. Don't you worry. Right, go on then, Dan.
Okay, question 4. Which 2 players scored double centuries against Somerset in the county championship?
Does a triple century count as a double century?
Yeah.
Or does it have to be between 200 and 300?
Just 200 plus.
200 plus, right. We know
I saw both of those.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, I forgot the other one.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Which two players scored double centuries against Somerset in the County Championship 2022?
Oh, that was in the
More than 200.
Yeah, 200 plus.
Oh, bloody hell! Who was the other one?
Oh, go on.
Oh, yes, of course it was. Go on then, Dan. This is the last one of our championship, isn't
Yep,
it?
so now we're on to the London Cup, if everyone's ready.
So we've had 4 on championship, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right.
So, question 5. Against which team did Somerset secure their only win of the Royal London Cup? Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Who was Somerset's leading run scorer in the Royal London Cup?
That question was also on the official Somerset quiz on the website, Dan. I don't know if you've done yours yet.
Was it? Yeah, there were. I wrote these questions before that quiz came out, and I think I did notice a resemblance in a couple of them. But yeah, any similarity is purely a coincidence. Question 7, if everyone's ready.
Yeah, crack on.
Who top scored for Somerset in their 119 all-out in the Royal London Cup opener against Nottinghamshire?
I remember Renshaw at 2-4s and then he got out, and it's entirely possible that 8 would have been the top score that day.
God, I remember that first 4 he hit. I think it was it him? I think it was straight back down the ground, and that was the one moment of optimism I had for our Royal London Cup campaign.
Yeah, then the
also.
next one he squirted over third man, and the next one
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Question 7. What was the sequence of Matt Renshaw's innings against Notts? That'd be honest, that was right. Top score against Notts was...
Everyone ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Cool. Question 8. I think this was on the Somerset quiz as well. How many sixes did Ben Green hit during his 157 against Durham in the Royal London Cup?
I got this wrong on that one, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was this.
Everyone happy?
Well, I've written a number down, whether it's right or not, who knows?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, not an easy one. Question 9, so now we're on to the Blast. Who was Somerset's leading wicket taker in this year's Blast? Question 10. Name the 5 players to score a 50 for Somerset in the Blast.
Do we need to spell it right?
No. You're marking yourself anyway, weren't you? So.
Definitely 3 I've got there. He must have got one. And how many did Roloff get against Gloucester? That was only like 48, 49, wasn't it? So
Yeah, I had the same. I had the same thought.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's go for. I don't know. You said there were 5, Dan?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he did, but. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Question 11. Who was the only man to score a century against Somerset in the Blast?
Oh.
Just need the name of the player. Okay, question... Obviously, question 12. Which 3 Somerset players made their T20 debut in the match against Sri Lanka Development 11? So this is their T20 debut, not necessarily their Somerset debut.
I think. Oh, yes. No. Right, I'm not changing it. If I get it wrong, I'll get it wrong.
Everyone ready?
Yep.
So that's the Blast done. Now a couple of Somerset women questions. Hopefully everyone was paying attention during the summer. So question 13. Who did Somerset women lose to in the Group 3 final of the Women's County T20?
Was that the one on the same day we managed to lose against Surrey? And that was a... Was that right?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I'm
That
getting
was
it wrong.
Carry Grounds. That wasn't the finals day.
Somehow we managed to lose 3 games in a day, didn't we? I think Somerset women lost 2 games at T20 and we lost at Surrey on that Sunday.
Yeah, we did. Okay, question 14. Which Somerset and Western Storm player has been named in England's squad for the upcoming Under-19s Women's World Cup?
This is going to be a real shame if all 4 of us just guessed Sophie Luff. I saw the story. I can remember.
It's not under 19.
I know, but I can remember. I remember seeing the story. Oh, it's not her. Is it her? No.
Luffy would be delighted about that. Is it a spinner, Dan?
Oh, I can't give clues.
I think I know who it is.
I can't think.
Luffy's playing for New South Wales now. She's out there as well.
So, yeah, she's got 2, unfortunately.
Question 16.
But, yeah.
Which Western Storm player has recently made her debut for New South Wales?
No, sadly,
I can't think. I've
Sadly
got
not.
total blank on that one.
Okie doke. Everyone ready to move on?
Yeah.
So now we've got 6 just sort of general Somerset questions. So question 15 is, so 5 grounds have hosted T20 finals day. At which one have Somerset not played at on a finals day?
Oh.
So, yeah, you obviously probably want to work out the 5 grounds that have hosted T20 finals day, and then one of those Somerset have not played at on finals day. But you just get the 1 point for knowing the one, which is, yeah.
You made me think about the fucking Rose Bowl again, Dan. Thanks for that.
We played there.
I know. Take the bowls off. Write them out. Question 6. We on 16 now?
Yep, next one is 16, if everyone's ready. So, Joel Garner, Viv Richards, Jack White. Who comes next? Joel Garner, Viv Richards, Jack White. Who comes next?
I know exactly what's going through your mind now, Pete. I can see you pointing to an imaginary map.
Okay, is everyone ready?
Yeah.
So question 17. Which 6 men played in all 4 of Somerset's successful finals between 1979 and 1983? Which 6 men played in all 4 of Somerset's successful finals between 1979 and 1983?
Right. 6, you say, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody ready?
Okay, question 18. Somerset hold the county record winning margin by runs in all 3 formats, so first class, list A, T20. Against which teams were these records set? Just need 3 teams that we beat by a lot of runs.
Complete guesses for 2 of these.
I don't know about that.
Is the first class one a county?
No.
Well,
Oh, I should have said that. Oh, no. You idiot,
it's the
Shepherd.
record by a county inflicting on another
Right.
team, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
I should have DM'd you that instead of broadcasting it to the group.
Sorry, to be fair, I could have made the question a little bit clearer. Everyone ready?
Yep.
So, question 19. Who holds the record for the most appearances for Somerset in first-class cricket? Everyone happy?
Yeah, is this our last question, Dan?
Yep, this is the last one. Question 20. Which 3 teams did Somerset beat in the 2011 Champions League T20 as they reached the semi-finals, including the qualifying stage?
Where's Steve Snell when you need him?
Well, there's no danger of me setting the quiz next year. So that's
Oh.
good.
Well, you say that, Pete. You say that, but, you know. Right, edit that out. Everybody done?
Yes. Dan, I've got people waiting for me on dinner. So I'm gonna. How do
Yes,
I
me
DM?
too. Come on, come in.
How,
Right,
how do I DM you my answers? Oh, go on.
Right,
Yeah.
we'll run through the answers quick as you can then. Right, who's the only player to play in all 14 of them championship games?
Yep, that was Tom Lammonby.
Yay.
Hey!
Your fifers.
number
I've
two.
got Roloff, Jack, Craig, Jack Brooks and Pete Siddle.
Hang on. Roloff, Jack, Craig, Siddle, and Aldridge.
Oh.
I thought.
I didn't get that.
Oh, so you get a point for each.
Yeah,
there,
point
yeah?
for each.
Right,
Point for
okay.
each.
You need to repeat the question, or
So
it's
it's
not
the
going to make
five players
sense.
to take 5 wicket
Yeah.
haul for Somerset in the county championship. Craig Overton, Peter Siddle, Casey Aldridge, Jack Leach, Roloff van der Merwe.
I got 4.
I got 4.
Right, keep your score. Tally your score as you go along then. What was number 3? What team?
Somerset bowled first in only 2 county championship matches, and they were against Essex and Gloucestershire.
Oh, 1. I got that.
One, yeah.
Yes, it was Essex at Chelmsford and Gloucestershire at Taunton. You don't need the venues, but it was Essex at Chelmsford, Gloucestershire at Taunton.
Yeah, I got Essex away. That was the one I had.
Yeah, that was the first time it happened. So number 4, which 2 players scored double centuries against Somerset in the county championship? That was Keaton
Brown.
Jennings and Nick Brown,
Brown.
as mentioned earlier. I think it was podcast, was it? I'd completely forgotten that Brown scored double century against us until I did these questions. So, blimey, I was that mad.
I
I've
had
forgotten to
till
mention
Anthony
it
mentioned
about half
it.
an hour ago.
Yeah.
It was a thrilling innings, absolutely thrilling. We were spellbound.
Number 5, the only team that Somerset beat in the Royal London Cup was, of course, Warwickshire.
Warwickshire.
Yeah.
Last match. Number 6, Somerset's leading run scorer in the Royal London Cup was James Rue.
Hey!
Hey.
7. The top scorer for Somerset in the 119 all-out against Notts was also James Rue.
I got that. He got 46 or something, didn't he?
48, yeah.
Oh.
Near enough. The number 6's Ben Green hit against Durham was 12.
Yes.
Yeah, got that wrong.
I think it was 12 sixes and 10 fours. Who was Somerset's leading wicket taker in the Blast? That was Ben Green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it?
An economy rate of about 12.5.
Yeah, he did go for a few this year, yeah. The 5 players to score 50 for Somerset in the Blast. So that was Riley Russo, Will Smeed, Tom Abel, Tom Banton, and Lewis Gregory.
Hey! Got all 5.
Yeah, Gregory scored 66 against Gloucestershire, which so again, I remember it now, but when I did the questions, I was like, oh yeah, of course. Forgot about that. Who was the only man to score a century against Somerset in the Blast?
Vince.
That was James Vince. Yep.
James Vince.
Yeah, sadly.
Of course.
The 3 Somerset players to make their debut in the match against Sri Lanka.
Well, it was definitely James Rue.
Yep.
Got that. Casey in there?
Yep.
Ah, shit.
And George Thomas?
No, it was Ned Leonard.
Oh, I thought he was
I got
injured all
none.
season.
None there.
I thought he was injured all season.
1 there.
I didn't see the match, so it didn't register.
13. Who did Somerset women lose to in the finals? In the Group 2
Warwickshire.
final of the Women's County 20? It was Warwickshire, yeah.
No, got that wrong.
Number 14. Which Somerset and Western Storm player has been named in England's squad for the upcoming Under-19 Women's World Cup? Did anyone get that?
Sophia Smale?
No, good shout. She's Western Storm, but she's not Somerset. She's Wales.
Ah,
The answer was
see.
Neve Holland.
Oh,
right.
Get that.
Neve Holland. Number 15. So 5 grounds have hosted T20 finals day. Which one has Somerset not played at on a finals day?
Trent-Bridge.
Trent
Trent
Bridge.
Bridge, yeah. So I think we're the only county to have played at 4 of the grounds, because Oval and Sophia Gardens have only hosted finals day once each, and we played at both of them. Plus we played at the Rose Bowl once out of twice, and then obviously Edgbaston we played at 5 times. So yeah, I've not played at Trent Bridge, so it's just a point for that. So Joel Garner, Viv Richards, Jack White, who comes next?
Ryan Rose.
Ryan Rose?
Ryan Rose,
Yeah.
because of the gates at the ground. Yeah, I think I took inspiration from yours last year, Ian. I think you did pavilion.
I can see Pete. He just remembered.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah. I got that.
Which 6 men played in all 4 of Somerset's successful finals between 1979 and 1983?
Right.
Anyone want to have a stab?
Vic Marks.
Yep.
Peter Roebuck.
Yep.
Brian Rhodes.
Denning.
It was not Brian Rose.
yeah.
No, I think he missed 83.
Pete Denning.
Denning
Denning
played.
is correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Colin Dredge.
Not Colin Dredge. No.
IT
Jim
Both.
Richards.
Botham,
Botham. Yep.
And Botham and Taylor.
Garner,
Not Taylor. No, I think he missed 83 as well. Trevor Gard played that one.
Jerry Lloyd.
It was Garner. Yep, and Viv Richards, of course.
Richards. Yeah.
So just to read them all out
I
again.
didn't go for Garlic. I thought they might have been on tour with the West Indies. That's why I didn't go for them.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah, but no, they managed to play them all. Yeah, so it was Richards, Garner, Botham,
Botham.
Denning, Roebuck, Marks. They're the 6.
5.
So
Cool.
it's obviously
5 for
the point.
that. Can't believe it.
5, yeah.
Somerset hold the county record winning margin in all 3 formats. Against which teams were they set? So first class was Cardiff MCCU or Cardiff University, whatever. But, yeah. List day was against Devon in 1990.
9 counties. It doesn't count.
Not according to record books. It was the world record until very recently when there's that Vijay Hazare Trophy match in India. It was broken by a fair amount, actually. And the final one, T20, was, of course, Derbyshire this year in the quarterfinal. So, number 19, who was the record for most appearances with Somerset in first-class cricket? That is Brian Langford.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, 504. And then which 3 teams did Somerset beat in the 2011 Champions League T20? So that was Auckland or Auckland Aces. Colchester Knight
Australia?
Riders. Sorry, say again.
South Australia or something like that to be beaten.
No, good shout again. We played them, but it was a no result. It was abandoned after the toss, I believe. So yeah, Auckland Aces, Colchester Knight Riders, which was twice, and Warriors of South Africa. So
None there for me.
point for each. So just to be clear, any question there was multiple answers, it's a point for each, and the total's out of 41.
2, 7,
16, 20, 21, 22.
6.
22, I've got, I reckon.
22.
Yeah.
I think I've got 24. 1,
Oh, good.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 21.
You
21
stuck
then.
out
In which
one
case,
there.
21.
Oh, I've got
Oh,
26.
no! You got 26, yeah?
I got 26.
Hey!
Oh,
Very
22.
good.
does that mean I can do that bloody
22.
quiz this year? Great quiz, Dan. Absolutely. I was.
Very good.
Very
I was saying
good.
people, Dan's doing the quiz. So they're like, oh my god, it's going to be like, to what decimal point was Tom Abram's average in April while he was playing through the offside? Good quiz, Dan. Fantastic stuff.
Thanks. Quizzes are difficult, aren't they? You just never quite know how hard or easy they're going to be for people.
Well, I thought that was pretty fair.
That was pretty spot on, Dan.
Thanks.
Right.
Good to hear.
Through the magic of editing, dear listener, you won't have realised how much that dragged on with pauses and everything while we're all thinking about our answers to the quiz. Right, I've already had two. I've already had 2 of you moaning that you want to go off for your tea. So, in the absence of any other business, shall we just leave it?
Happy Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas,
everyone.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
To
Christmas.
all our listeners.
Happy New Year, and we will see you at the Cooper Associates County Ground in 2023. I can tell Sam's desperate to jump up off his sofa and go and get his tea, so I'm just stalling for time. Oh, he's already gone. Right. We'll reconvene in the new year when we've probably got some Somerset news to talk about. But Merry Christmas to one and all, and we'll see you in 2023.
Cheers, Sheps.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, everyone.